kitchen background. So please enjoy the coal range, the fridge, the microwave, and yeah. Cool. All right. Well, we'll get started. It's 1 o'clock now. And yeah, just want to thank everyone for coming today. Really appreciate the time and effort you're putting in to hear us talk. I'm really lucky to be joined by some awesome people from PwC, and the session is for us to share with you what we do and answer any questions that you may have. So we'll get started. The first place to start is introducing the team. So my name is Dom, and I am in the early careers team at PwC. I started with the firm 6 months ago, and unfortunately I've been in lockdown pretty much most of that, which has been good and bad, but I'm really appreciative of the opportunity I've had at PwC. Originally I studied in the mighty Waikato at Wintech, and I did a certificate in radio broadcasting, and then moved through to do a Bachelor of Communications, and now I'm a recruiter at a Big Four. So really random journey, but yeah, feeling really, again, blessed and lucky to be able to help students step into their first roles in the corporate world. So enough from me. I will hand over to Harry to introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming along. Good afternoon. It's great to see so many people here. I'm a manager in financial advisory services or corporate tax. I've been with PwC for just over a year, and before that I worked with another Big Four firm, EY, for 2.5 years, and before that a small accounting firm in Ashburton. So I've got a bit of a range of different experiences, and I'm happy to field any questions on those and differences between different roles at the end. In terms of where I studied a Bachelor of Commerce at UC, and then I studied a Master of Commerce at UC, and I've actually just finished a Bachelor of Laws part-time at UC as well. Some of you might recognize me from tutoring and teaching at UC. I've been lucky enough to do this on a part-time basis, as well as working for PwC for about 5 years or so. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Harry. And I'll hand over to Nicole.
Well, hey guys, my name is Nicole. I studied at UC, and I studied at UC with a law and commerce degree. I did accounting as my major, so some of you might have seen me last year. I also am a tax associate, and I've just started. I'm literally in my 3rd week, so it's been all go. I've just finished all my induction training. And Harry's actually my manager, so it's a bit of a tight-knit team, but it's been an awesome experience so far, and I absolutely loved my time at UC. I got to do an exchange, or 2 exchanges, just before COVID hit, which was pretty cool, and I got involved in all the club stuff and everything else in between, but yeah, no, excited to be a grad at PwC, but also do miss the university scene as well. But I think I'm going to talk about that later, but I'm not sure. We'll figure that out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. And last but not least, I'll hand over to Natalie.
Hi, everybody. My name is Natalie, as you can see on the slide that Dom's kindly put together for us, and I am the Early Careers Talent Manager at PwC. It's a role I've been in for only 7 months. I, very similar to Dom, started, and then 3 weeks later we were plunged into lockdown. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride. But nevertheless, I am very much enjoying my time and looking forward to when our applications open on the 7th of March so that we can start seeing some of you wonderful people apply for some of our roles. The majority of my career I have spent over in the UK. So I've done 14 years in London. I worked with Deloitte over in London, and I've only been back in New Zealand, where I originated from, for about 3 years. I have 2 small children who keep me very, very busy alongside this job that I do here for PwC. So welcome. Thank you very much for joining the call, and I hope you find it really, really useful. Back to you, Dom.
Awesome. Thanks, Nat. So I think the best place to start for us is, and for any company really, is to talk about our purpose and our values. So at PwC, everything we do and why we do and what we do all derives from our purpose. Our purpose is to build trust in society and solve important problems. This helps us strive for our best for our clients and ourselves. And yeah, like I keep saying, it's everything we do is why we do and what we do. And along with that, we have our values. Our values are, we have 5 core values, and they're on the screen right now. We've got act with integrity, make a difference, care, work together, and reimagine the possible. So while we come from different backgrounds and cultures, our values are the one thing that we have all in common. They describe the expectation for our clients, and like that their clients should have for us. Also guides us how we work together, and really is the main thing is holding us accountable. With that, I just want to point out for us, everything we do is with our values, everything we work towards. And you might hear a cat meowing in the background, really sorry about that. But yeah, so for us, the values are so important. And just as a side note for you, when you are applying for us with our grad and intern applications, is to really show how our values align with you, and to definitely use those as a starting point to really flush out your application forms and your CVs. So yeah, so with that, I think the best place to go next is our business areas that we are recruiting for this year for graduate interns. What I'll do is I'll hand over to Natalie, and she can talk more to that. And you're on mute.
Yep, so I need to take myself off mute. Thank you. Yep. You'd think I'd managed to navigate that by now. Anyway, so yeah, I sit in the people and culture team, guys. So I can't give you a day-to-day account of exactly what goes on in this business, in these business units. But what I can tell you, working really closely with some of these people in these teams, is at a high level what they're about, what skills are important in there, and how they interact with clients. And so if I kind of take a step back and I start with audit, I think one of the key things that comes out when I talk to my colleagues in the audit team is that audit, anything to do with audit, is about building trust. So we are the people that go into organisations and talk to people about their rules and their processes, and they're looking at their checks and balances when it comes to their financials. And we do all of that to build credibility, so that other people can look at organisations and know that they're doing the right thing and give them that credibility. And that, again, realigns back to our purpose, right, about building trust in society and giving credibility. So on a day-to-day basis, what you could probably expect in audit is, on any audit engagement, you would be dealing with people inside businesses. You would go into businesses and have conversations with people about their financials, and then you would work with them on looking at rules when it comes to financial statements and things like that, and then their processes as well. Risk assurance. Risk assurance almost says what it does on the label there, right? It's all about the assurance piece with risk added into the mix. So if you think about risk profiles, so what if you're in risk assurance, it's all about what type of risk profile is okay. So what type of risk is involved when you think about internal audit, when you think about things like data and analytics, or governance, risk and compliance, or technology? What's the risk profile around any of those things? And we can't eliminate risk from everything that we do, but what we can do is be really aware of some of the risk, and then understand what that looks like in more detail, and if we're okay with that. So what kind of level of risk are we comfortable with? And then what kind of mitigations can we put in play to make sure that we are bringing down that risk to a profile that we are comfortable with? So that's what risk assurance is about. If I look at consulting, consulting is probably one of our broadest teams. So consulting has 13 different teams within it, and it covers a whole range of things. So in consulting, you can expect to find our cyber team, our forensic team. We also look at human-centered design within consulting. We look at technology. We have a transformation team. We have a people and organizational design team. There are a lot of teams that make up our wider consulting division, and what they all have in common is that they work with people to support and drive better business outcomes. So getting the most out of people, out of tech, out of how people operate, to make sure that they're driving for those awesome business outcomes that businesses want. And then I'm going to leave financial advisory services for Harry and Nicole to talk about. But for deals is one of our smaller business units, but deals encapsulates a lot to do with mergers and acquisitions of businesses and businesses that may need some support in what they are doing. So you'll find a number of different teams within deals. You'll find things like transaction services. You'll find business recovery services. So where businesses may not be doing particularly well and need some support and how they might move things forward and achieve a better outcome. In deals, we have other teams like real estate and infrastructure who are all about helping organizations merge and acquire others in that kind of space. So that's a very quick overview of some of our business units. Shall I pause for questions, Dom, or do you want to go straight into financial advisory services and then we have questions afterwards?
Yeah, we have a section where we will get you guys to ask your questions. We're going to use a Kahoot, but
Cool.
I think what we can do is hand over to Harry to talk about financial advisory service.
Excellent. So financial advisory services, or FAS, other firms might call this tax, and broadly what we try to do in FAS is to help businesses and individuals with their tax requirements. There's two main areas. There's private business and enterprise. I'm in the enterprise team. Day to day, I would do things such as advising clients on complex tax rules, consulting with government on tax policy, implementing tax technology. There's some transactional work as well. There's also specialist areas of enterprise, GST, transfer pricing. And then on the other side, there's private business, which I'm not part of, but I do work closely alongside. And they do things such as virtual CFO services and outsourced finance function. So that will be if a business doesn't have the capacity to do things internally, they might come to us and we'll do everything for them. Management accounting, preparing financial statements and that sort of thing. So within FAS, or financial advisory services, the ambit is really quite broad, and it gives you scope to try a lot of different things and specialize in a number of different areas.
Awesome. And Nicole, since you are so recent to PwC, it'd be really cool to hear from you and how you've found it joining our FAS team.
Yeah, it's been a really awesome experience. I kind of came into my grad process quite open, just because I did have that accounting and law degree. So I wasn't particularly sure on what I really wanted, but I was open to it. And when I had a chat with Harry, actually, at the last recruitment drive, he did mention what tax did, so similarly to what he just mentioned before. But I have noticed in particular in the last 3 weeks, we've worked really hard to create really positive relationships with clients, really helping them through their problems and solving those issues. So really aligning with PwC's purpose, which has been really awesome. So if that's something that you care about and would like to have hands-on experience about, it's definitely a great place to be, or PwC in general, but tax as well. So that's been really cool. And yeah, so I guess that every day it's a lot of consulting work. I haven't really done a lot of accounting work, so much, I guess, just because I'm new. But no, it's been really awesome, and you get to work on real tangible solutions for clients as well, which is a really awesome part of our job.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome point to point out as well. I think that when you hear the word intern, you kind of think of movies and you think of getting printing and going to get coffee for people, but it's definitely you are working on real things in real time, and which can be quite scary and intimidating, but you have a really awesome team to support you through that, and they've been in your shoes, so they know exactly how you're feeling. So yeah, thank you, Nicole.
I'd just like to also note, sorry, really quickly. Yeah. I just thought I would mention as well, I've literally been in the office for a week, and I've already been in client meetings, and they just chuck you right into it and they try to get you involved. And Harry and the team, and I know all of PwC across all the grads as well, they really care about what we think about situations as well. They want us to get in and involved with it. So that's something really cool about PwC that I know some places don't offer. So just thought I would throw that in there as well.
No, that's awesome, and thank you for that. So the next thing we're going to do is move through to using a Kahoot. You've probably used Kahoot before, I'm assuming. If not, if you could just join grab your phone and put into Kahoot and press play. I'll just move to the screen now where the code will be. So this is not a quiz. We're not quizzing you on what you've just heard. This is more of a, we've got two questions we want to ask. One is something just figuring out what you know about PwC, and then the next question it will be about, you know, any questions that you may have and that we can answer. And yeah, so it's not a test. You're not getting assessed, but just trying to make it a little bit interactive as we become virtual, and then fingers crossed for future presentations will be in person. Awesome, I'll give it a minute now. You can also scan the QR code at the top. How good is QR codes now? Thank goodness for the COVID app, eh? It's really brought a big resurgence of QR codes. Cool. All right, I'll give it a couple more. I'll give it 30 more seconds. Oh, I'm gonna. Oh no! There we go. Sorry. Maybe my internet's slow. Awesome. All right, I'm going to start and I will copy the code into the chat. Copy. Here we go. Cool. So for us, we want to know, you know, what do you know about PwC? What's one word that comes to mind when you think of PwC? It doesn't have to be a fancy word, but any one word that you think of, we'd really love to know. Maybe I should have left the music playing or the Kahoot music. Awesome. Give it 30 more seconds. Cool. All right. We'll go through to the next bit. Awesome. So these are all the words that people think of when they think of PwC. Definitely, the biggest one is accounting, which that's classic and totally understandable. This year, we're really trying to push out the fact that we're more than just an accounting firm. And I think Natalie did a really good, and Natalie and Harry and Nicole talked really greatly about our business areas and all the different opportunities we have inside the business. But Harry, Nicole, Natalie, are there anything that you find interesting about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think from my perspective, yes, we are an accountancy advisory organisation, but we do offer other services as well, right? So that is a core part of what we do, accounting. But as I touched on before, there's certainly a lot more that we do in the technology space, certainly things like transformation, human-centered design. The breadth of what we now do as a Big Four is much more than it used to be. And I think one of the other things to think about too is often in the media we hear things about accounting and things, you know, there's a narrative around the robots can do our roles as accountants. But what I would point out is that, yes, we will automate some of the work that we can do in accounting, and that will free us up to do the much more value add pieces of work in the accounting space, right? So things like developing those relationships and having fantastic relationships with clients, and then being more strategic about the work that we do. So I think, you know, keeping abreast of what's going on in the wider market is really important, and what is going on in business more broadly, and both at a national but a global level is super important, and something that PwC can offer people joining now and in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And I would agree with that. A large proportion of people that are being hired now don't have any accounting background at all. I know locally or in Christchurch, the fastest growing team is consulting, and most people in the consulting team don't have accounting. So it's no longer just an accounting firm. We really are expanding and broadening the things that we're looking at and the problems we're solving.
To note as well, even in the Christchurch tax team and in our grad cohort, a lot of the people in our tax team also don't have accounting degrees. Most of them do have law degrees, but it's still quite open as well. I don't know if I can speak to that too much, Harry, but I don't know if there's a real requirement for tax to have the degrees. But for across the board, it's really open, and lots of people have different skills and different degrees in each department too.
Yeah, and I think also a good thing to point out is, I think we've really stuck on the accounting word, but you know, if you have an accounting degree or you're studying towards that, we still love to see those applications come through. That's definitely a big plus for us. But yeah, we just don't want it to be our main thing anymore. We've got so much more that we do. Another word that I think was really cool that someone put up was progressive, and that's what we're striving to be. We're definitely trying to be way more inclusive, and you know, inside PwC, I don't think we talk about it enough, but we have all these amazing communities and that you can join, and there's no, you know, you don't have to have any sort of degree to join. You could literally just want to be a part of something new. So for me, I'm part of the Manu Kura business, which is our Māori business team. I'm not in it every day, but I'm a part of the group and get to see all the cool things that we do. We also have our Pacific Village, our Shine group, which is our LGBTQ plus community, which is so cool. And right now we're doing a Pride Month quiz each week, and to be honest, I've been really trying to win the prizes because they're really good prizes, but yeah, I think for us we are really trying, and you know, we've all got a lot of learning to do, but we're on the right track, the right journey. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about, Nicole, Harry, Nat?
I think in particular, I really like the engaging section of it. I know, like, during my time at the university, PwC got really in and amongst a lot of the club stuff, as well as also the community. So I've just signed up to be a volunteer for two of PwC Foundation's work. So one is called Toy Toy, which is where we go to lower decile schools and read books to kids. And then the other is, how do you say it? It was, I can't remember how to say it. Do you remember?
Toy Toy and Flip.
Yeah, Flip, that's it. So we were trying to pronounce it the other day, but we totally forgot. But with Flip, you teach, again, lower decile schools how to be, I guess, savvy with their money. So they're really good. Like, PwC is really awesome in the community, and you really do see them around quite a bit, even outside of the university area. So that's something that I really, really took into consideration when I applied for grad jobs and internships as well.
Yeah, and I'll build on that too if I can, Dom, because I just want to mention as well our partnership with Girlboss. So Nicole touched on some of the stuff we do in schools, but then also we carry that through and partner with Girlboss and help teach mostly women between 16 and 22 and help them with financial literacy, and that kind of manifests in a number of different programs that we get to be involved in at PwC. And one of the ones that I had the pleasure of being involved in earlier in the year was to mentor a number of the young women who were part of the financial literacy program for Girlboss. And that was like deliciously rewarding, like speaking to these young women about what they had learned on the program and then sharing some of my experiences and also learning from them as well I found it hugely rewarding and humbling.
Yeah, awesome. And I think another word that's just popped out to me is corporate. And I like to say the story about when I started because I think it's relatable and it's also quite funny. But when I first started at PwC, before I started, I was really intimidated because I didn't think I was formal enough for a corporate. And I think, you know, the perception is that we wear suits every day and it's very corporate-y, and we talk about business all the time. And we do definitely do those things, but we are humans inside the building, and we've been in your position before. We know what it's like coming in. And so when I first started, I was freaking out about what to wear, and it was all virtual because I had started in lockdown, but like I got fully dressed, even put shoes on, you know, just in case, just to really feel it out. And in my first meeting, I stayed up all night figuring out what to wear, and then in my first meeting the team, someone was wearing a dressing gown, and because we were in this weird situation, and you know, we were just going into lockdown, and it just made me be like, oh my gosh, of course, like, we're human, we are all trying to figure this out, work together to solve important problems. So yes, I think we're trying to break that barrier down, that yes, it is intimidating at the start, but it's definitely not. Everyone knows what it's like and has been in your position before as well. So yeah, all right, what I might do now is move to the next question. So this is going to be an open-ended question. So if you have any questions for us, please submit it through here, and then we will answer them. And then if you want to ask more questions, feel free to put it in the chat in the Zoom as well. Even though we've been in virtual for so long, I still can't handle the awkward silences of everyone on mute. It's something I'm working on. Cool. I might just move to the next page. Oh, actually, there's a countdown. But if we move through to the next slide where the questions are, and you still have questions to ask, yeah, like I said before, please do put them in the chat. Trying to make it a little bit more interactive because virtual is annoying. Awesome.
Wow, 22 questions. We've got a lot.
I know. Nervous. Hopefully they're all the same question, guys? Is anything showing for you guys on the screen? No. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So Nicole, Harry, Nat, and myself will take a look at the questions and yeah, try and answer them. And PwC team, feel free to just go ahead.
Really happy to lead out on that one. So what do you look for in your interns, grades, extracurricular? So across grads and interns, I think we generally look for the same kind of thing, right? And that comes down to behaviors and attributes. So we're a community of solvers, so problem solving is really important. So people who are really keen to be curious and solve problems and understand why. And we've just actually recently asked our graduates the same kind of question. So what makes a good tax person, for example? What makes a good audit person, for example? And we've actually created videos of that on our website. So I would encourage you to have a look on the website, and you can perhaps align yourself to which kind of area and attributes they talk about. Extracurricular, and having a holistic view of what people are like when they join our organisation is really important. So we do definitely look at extracurricular, sports clubs, church groups, volunteering, leadership activities, all of those kinds of things are what you're all about, and we want to know the whole you, the full you.
Just to add on to that, when I did my graduate application, I was really worried because one, I didn't intern because one of my internships fell through because of COVID. And two, I bombed my second year of law. I did not have great grades, and I really had to hustle quite hard in my latter end of my university time to pick my grades back up. So the questions, there's a few questions about like grades and stuff like that. It wasn't really touched on in my interviews because I had lots of extra curriculars. I kind of leveled myself out and tried to become a more rounded student, which I think a lot of companies, including PwC, really want from you, just as Natalie mentioned as well. So in like doing extracurriculars, I know it's a lot, especially at university, because you're like trying to smash out papers and you're trying to do grad applications and everything else. But it really does help when you're trying to figure out like what departments you want to apply for, what you value as well. And that's something that I would really stress, because at the end of the day, when you go in for interviews and when you're putting your CV and cover letters through and doing all these applications for internships and graduate roles, they want to see how you add value back to them. And if you know what you value and what you kind of like align with, it makes it really easy when you go to interviews and when you do the application to really show to our people and culture team what you kind of can add into PwC. And I think that made my whole graduate process a lot easier. Yeah, and so I really stress that even though grades are important because you still want to do well at uni, doing the extra really does help.
Yeah, and just to follow that up, you know, one of the questions is what can you do to stand out? For us, kind of like what Nicole touched on, we want to see what you do outside of university as well. We love to see the passion projects, volunteering, anything like that, that, you know, makes you like that you're passionate about. Because for us, you know, we understand you're studying, we get that you have spent, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 years doing this, but we know that you are so much more than just your studies. So for us, if you could really like, you know, make that shine on your CV or in your application form, we love to learn more about you, and that's the best way to do it. So even if your passion project is knitting or anything like that, it's just something a little bit different, and for us to kind of be like, oh cool, so you you know, you love to do this outside of work, and that's perfect. And then another thing is also when you are talking about your work experience, you know, I've done the tough times of being in a call center or working at McDonald's and things like that. We still want to see that stuff because for us, you know, that shows that you've dealt with, actually, especially in fast food restaurants, you've dealt with people that are, you know, can be a little bit angry and aggressive, and you've handled it and you've, you know, done your job. So for us, that's a really big people skill that you've learned. And yeah, so just definitely highlight the stuff that you've done while you've studied, and yeah, I think you'll do fine. What other questions we've got? We've got heaps now, guys.
I'm happy to talk
yeah.
to what sets us apart from other firms, probably quite well equipped, having worked at another big 4 firm. From my perspective, I think the people and culture of PwC are quite different. I think it's a lot better than at other firms. I think that's something that's driven by the partners of the firm. And I think overall we are a lot more progressive, and that really filters down through the team. The other difference I noticed is that we generally have a lot better clients. Like I work with household names, really large multinational corporations, and it's really interesting and engaging work. And I feel like I'm actually making a real impact or difference to society in doing that work. So those are the 2 key differences for me, so the work and the people. I also noticed that PwC is a lot more interested in your perspective and what you think, and whereas other firms you might take more of a back seat and the engagement or the work will be driven by the partners or the managers, whereas at PwC we actually care about everyone that's involved and their opinion and what they think, and we try to get them involved as much as we can.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that.
I agree. Our people and our culture is pretty stellar at PwC. We're a people business, right? And yeah, if it wasn't for the great people that I work with and supported by, yeah, it would make my job so easy and so rewarding. So people definitely play
And I did see on the previous page that someone said that it was like a really big company. I guess as a whole it is, but in the same sense, our first week of induction, we did 2 days of firm-wide induction, and we got to meet all the grads, all the team, including the CEO. Everyone is just so accessible and so willing to help. Like I met Dominique earlier this morning and we just had a great chat and it was completely fine. And honestly, the team's just so awesome. I've already asked like 10 billion stupid questions, but to them, it's not stupid questions apparently, but it's just such a great team to work for. And even in my interview process, everyone was just so excited to meet me and they're just excited to get you on board. So I think that's really, really awesome thing about PwC is that they really do value their people and they look after us really well as well.
Yeah. Nicole and I spoke about Michael Jordan probably for 10-15 minutes of our call because I saw it in her background and it was awesome. So, you know, we're human, we understand, we also want to make those connections, especially through weird times like COVID. So yeah, it's where everyone's there to help, which is really cool. And definitely from previous experience in previous companies, I would say that PwC is definitely the one to, you know, like Nicole said, I have asked every dumb question you can, and I still do even 6 months in, and I don't ever feel dumb, if that makes sense. Like people make me feel that, you know, it's a valid question and they answer it, or they help guide me to the answer instead of giving it to me so I can learn. So yeah, really lucky. I thought a really interesting question was about the personality trait. What personality trait do you want in an employee to have? Would you say grit, dedication, or team player? For us, yeah, everything is based off our values. If you align to our values, then, you know, that's great for us. I think with COVID, for like New Zealand wide, I think everyone has built up a new thing called resilience, which is great. And it's really a positive for us because, yeah, our industry is forever changing, and just being able to be resilient in random times like a lockdown, like I never in my life thought would be locked down, has been a really good big win for us as New Zealanders to, you know, figure it out and how to do it. It's not always easy, and definitely we have our bad days, but because we're all so close and teammates, we kind of help each other with those stuff. So are there any other personality traits you guys think that we look for PwC people? Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah.
I definitely say curious and problem solving with my ones.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think being open-minded and willing to give things a go, and you know, it doesn't have to be 100%, or when you start, doesn't even have to be sort of 80%, you know, it's just that you're willing to give things a go and try your best. I think that's one of the key things from my perspective.
I noticed
there's much to add on that.
I noticed there's quite a few questions about like professional development and qualifications. So I might just touch on that to cover a few of those off if you like. So yeah, one of the fantastic things about working in a big firm or a big corporate like ourselves is that we do offer support in educational or professional qualifications. So if you head to our website, and it really depends on what you want to do, so totally appreciate that after uni some of you guys might not feel like hitting the books again, but if you do want to become a chartered accountant or a CFA, or there's a number of different professional qualifications which we do offer, and they're all available on our website. So I think there's 7 off the top of my head, and if you just have a read through that brochure, it's going to talk to you about the kind of financial support that we put around those professional qualification, talks to the support in terms of advice and mentorship from people within the firm to help you achieve those qualifications. And then it also talks to you about the study leave and things like that as well, and what you can achieve at the end of that. So definitely a lot of people doing the chartered accountancy, but there are other professional qualifications which we do offer that are available to you. I'd also add that one of the other things, so as part of the new equation, we've made a really big commitment to digital upskilling. both in the community, but also more broadly in PwC as well. So we are often given the opportunity to upskill in the digital space, learning new technologies, learning different tips and tricks on how we can do things better. So there's also that offered to you on a fairly frequent basis as well. Harry, Nicole, do you guys want to offer anything else in the education or professional membership type space?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to study my law professionals with the firm, and I found the study support to be really helpful, especially, you know, trying to juggle other sort of commitments in my personal life and to do work as well. But the firm was really great. I ended up having quite a number of study days, which were fully paid, and they allowed me to really just focus on it and get it done and not have to sacrifice anything, which was really good. The other thing, which is probably worth noting, is that if you do study the CA courses or other courses with PwC, there's often a whole group of other graduates or other people going through the same experience, and it can be really helpful to actually leverage off that. And so you're all sort of in it together, and it's really quite nice having that cohort to help out with one another.
Yeah, I am currently in the process of signing up for my law profs as well as my CA. I'm going to get both done. And I've had multiple conversations with Harry, who's my manager, about how we're going to get that done. But you would normally get like a manager and a coaching partner, and they've been really open and really supportive about me getting my qualifications done. Earlier today, I was on another 2 calls with firm-wide graduates and everyone else who want to also get their profs and CA done, which was really cool. And they give us lots of opportunities just to, like Natalie said, just to get upskilled. I was on a call earlier this week about Excel, just because Excel continues to go over my head, but it was really awesome, really good practical skills. And just to make your life a whole lot easier. So PwC is really awesome in getting you to where you want to go and really goal setting for your qualifications and just skills in general. So that's really cool.
Yeah, awesome. I think I saw another question about different ways to get into PwC, or you know, if you're not studying accounting, we do have an alternative pathway into PwC, which is our Ignite apprenticeship program, which is a really cool opportunity. So if you are thinking, you know, maybe what you're studying is not for you and you've found a passion doing something else, like currently we have our cyber cohort and we're recruiting for cyber. That's an awesome opportunity to join PwC in an alternative way. So not the traditional intern grads, but in the program you do get, so 80% of your time is working and then 20% of your time is learning for the first 12 months, which is a really cool opportunity and something as a normal employee, we get learning opportunities, but there's not such a big focus on it, like it's not calculated out to be 20% or anything like that. So that's a really cool opportunity, and all the information of that is on our website. And after this call, I will send out links to the different places that we've spoken about on our website, just so that you guys can do some research.
Yeah, and just to add to that too, so there's a couple of questions in there about business areas or info systems backgrounds, wondering what stuff I can do in risk and consulting, and a couple of other degrees are mentioned as well. So if you head to our website, you can have a look at the 5 business areas that are recruiting when we open on the 7th of March. Now, in each of those areas, not only do they have a video, but they break down the teams within those business units. So some of those I've already touched on. And then they have at the bottom of that, they have actually what you're likely to have studied. So you can have a look and see kind of, you know, maybe I'm interested in risk assurance. Would they take my information systems degree? Yeah, they would. In certain places in there, yeah, they would. So you can have a look and kind of match up. It is important that you do have a look at your business areas, right? You need to know what you're passionate about and what you're going to find joy in and apply accordingly, because that's definitely something that the interviewers are going to want to see from you. Why do you want to join PwC, and why are you passionate about the area that you've joined? So take the time, do the research, and find out what you want to do. Your career's a long time, right? Make the investment. It's a good one.
But with that, also inside PwC, there are opportunities, once you're in and you hear about a different business unit or a different business area and you find that more interesting, there are opportunities to look at other areas, once you've figured out what you want to do, and like we're all there to support you through that transition. So yeah, I think, yeah, it's a really great opportunity, and you should definitely apply for our grad and intern application starting on 7th of March. We just have a couple more questions. One in the chat, talking about if you study hard enough and get acceptable grades, basically means that you are, able to work at PwC. And yeah, definitely. Like Nicole's mentioned, we definitely keen to see what else you've done in terms of, any volunteer hours or anything like that. But yeah, if you've got good grades and you're studying and you're passionate about what you're studying, then yeah, definitely.
I also saw a question just really quickly about if you need to know what business area. One thing I've also noted in induction, and I guess when I went through the graduate application, is that PwC is really open in getting you to try different things. So say if you entered tax and realized that you weren't really that keen on it, there is opportunities that you could talk to your coaching managers and your partners about trying other jobs as well. It's very collaborative, so you get opportunities to try new things. So if you don't like one place, I think there's opportunities. I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure there's other opportunities for you guys to try different areas as well. Am I right to say that? Am I allowed to say that? I don't know.
We don't want to lose you, Nicole, from tax.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you know what I mean.
Harry's going to be talking to Nicole straight after this.
Yeah, I just talked to myself in it. I'm not leaving tax, but I'm saying there's opportunities to leave. Not leave, but to try other things. That's what I'm saying.
Definitely. I've seen that before. In corporate tax, I've had people that haven't been that interested in corporate tax, and so they've pivoted a little bit and moved to do transfer pricing, which has been more their forte and that sort of thing. So there is opportunity to specialize, and also if you really want, you can completely change service line. I've also seen that as well. I guess the other question there is opportunities for people to work at an overseas office. And that's one of the advantages of PwC. We are a global organization, and you would be hard pressed to think of many countries that don't have a local PwC firm. So what that means is that there are a lot of opportunities both to work with different firms in different countries. I work a lot with PwC Australia, PwC in the US and China recently. And I have also seen people that have gone and worked for an overseas PwC office. So that is something that happens as well.
The beauty of our global network, right? 156 countries around the world we are.
Awesome. All right. So just to wrap up, there is one more question, sorry. Someone's put up that they are due to graduate mid-year 2023, and should they still apply for graduate and intern roles? Yes. So we have our applications opening on the 7th of March for interns and graduates, and then we're actually doing a second round in July. Yeah, I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but we are opening again on 25th of July, and we're doing applications then. Our start dates, typically our interns start in November and work over the summer till February, and then we have our graduates start in February, and then people that potentially finish mid-year, we do have an opportunity for people to start in July as well. So yeah, I would recommend that you do apply. Our website has all the information on it. And then if you have any other questions, I will send out some information to you so that you can reply to that, or you can add me on LinkedIn. Because yeah, networking is a really big thing, guys, and I really want to push that for you, is get your LinkedIn's up and updated and running, and feel free to add us on that. But yeah, we're coming to the end of our session. So what I want to do is just quickly jolt back to our presentation. And thank you so much for your questions. I really appreciate that. And hopefully it made it a little bit more interactive. So just wanted to give a shout out that we still have the PwC Challenge open. Our PwC Challenge is pretty much everything we've talked about today, is focusing on our values and our purpose to solve important problems. So, you know, and we have some really great prizes. So please do check out our PwC Challenge website. Again, I'll send through the link. And the entries close on the 4th of March, so this Friday. Awesome. All right. So we also have our Keep in Touch portal. So if you are interested in staying in touch with us, just scan the QR code and you'll be signing up to receive emails from us. We send out information about when applications are opening and also like different things we're doing inside the firm. So yeah, it's a good opportunity to keep in touch with us. And yeah. Final thing is, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time today. I know it's you probably had a couple of different sessions today already, so really appreciate your time and effort. And we look forward to seeing your applications on the 7th of March. And yeah, please come to our next events. We've got an event tomorrow with the law school with Canterbury, and then also another presentation later in March to talk about CV tips, LinkedIn tips, anything like that to get you recruitment ready. So yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Ka kite.
Thanks, everyone. And if you see me on campus as well, happy to talk anything through. So just grab me.
Thanks, team.
Thanks, Meryl.
Much appreciated. Hope we answered your questions and I was helpful.
Awesome. I think this session's been recorded, so you'll be able to rewatch back.
Good luck with applications as well.